How much do you value your privacy? How much does free speech actually mean to you? How much does investigative journalism impact on your life? Because all of these things are at risk. Currently, there are acts going through Parliament that will basically give investigatory powers to the security services and the police, which will put pressure on companies to have backdoors into their systems and will basically allow the government to spy on you even further without a huge amount of circumstantial, evidential presentation to a court. But guess which group is exempt? That's correct, the fucking politicians. They get to keep their fucking privacy. You and me, fuck it. Now me, for various reasons, I already have a target on my back, and I'm all good with that. I don't give a shit. Because I'm in the position of agreeing with the point that if you've got nothing to hide, you've got nothing to worry about. Do you know the really interesting thing about that statement? Do you know who first came out with that? Fucking Goebbels in 1938. If you have nothing to hide, you have nothing to worry about. What does that tell you? Dramatic pause. So, privacy. How many people care about the fact that the NSA and GCHQ in London. GCHQ, let's not forget, are the worst out of the two because GCHQ uses a system called Tempora. Those that have worked in internet security over the last 10 years, like I have, particularly with ISA systems and internet security and dual and tri-factor authentication, will be able to tell you that there's been a lot of chatter around for a long time. Edward Snowden told us categorically that Tempora existed and was being used. The difference with Tempora, which is a system that GCHQ use, is it's what we call complete grab. Complete grab means they are taking everything, not just metadata. Those in the IT sector will argue that actually the difference between metadata and complete grab isn't particularly that much of a leap. And they are kind of right. Metadata contains call origin, call destination, call duration, what cell towers you've been past during the day, your name, email subject headers, various other bits and pieces. So actually when you get a lot of metadata in a much wider context, you end up with something that actually paints a really pragmatic picture, a picture that actually gives you a huge amount of data. I think the difference with Tempora is it's just the blatant take the fucking piss that GCHQ are doing. And the fact that the NSA in America are funding GCHQ massively simply because the NSA have to follow far tighter guidelines than the UK do. Now, if you're telling me that you don't mind that international security services are spying on you and your privacy doesn't matter, I'm going to ask a request, and I got this from a brilliant speaker. I'm not going to mention his name. He's a fantastic journalist and quite closely linked to Edward Snowden. But he said, I've got an email address, and I'm going to put it in the tag in the comment section of this, okay? And if you don't care about your privacy, email me all of your passwords for your, generic email accounts, your Gmails, your Hotmails. Email me your Facebook password, Twitter, Instagram, all of that. Because if you don't care about your privacy, you're not worried about me looking at it. Anything I find interesting, I will share with my group, my friends. I'll post it if you don't mind. Because you don't care about privacy. And this is the point. And the bigger picture here, and there is a really, really significant bigger picture, is the Jimmy Savile expose over the BBC. I don't have a TV license, and my reason for not having a TV license is threefold, right? One, me and my family don't watch live television. We have subscriptions to a number of fairly famous services, so we watch the TV we want to watch when we want to watch it. Secondly, I don't really use any BBC services apart from radio, which you don't need a TV license for. Thirdly, and this is the big one, I will not fund an organisation that actively spent 30 years trying to cover up paedophilia and child abuse, and then every November ask you to give money to children in need? Are they taking the fucking piss? Seriously? If that wasn't so tragic, it'd be fucking hilarious. But the point is, the Jimmy Savile expose would not be able to happen in the next 5, 10, 15 years, because investigative journalism is going to be placed into a position where its sources will be too frightened of being identified. And this is what these laws are putting in jeopardy. They're putting in jeopardy our ability to have a free, independent media. So the likes of Glenn Greenwald, who broke the Snowden story, which, you know, Edward Snowden is a goddamn hero, and the entire globe needs to get behind the project to have Edward Snowden pardoned. To call him a traitor, to threaten him with execution is an absolute fucking disgrace, America. What the fuck is up with you? You broke the law. You broke the law by illegally spying on people. Edward Snowden said, you know what, this is bullshit. He had the balls to stand up and say, no, this is wrong. This is absolutely wrong. I'm going to sacrifice 90% of my life for the greater good, and he's a fucking traitor. The entire world, anybody of the free world who enjoys the freedoms of the internet, who enjoys the right to free speech, that believes in basic civil liberty, you have a duty to Edward Snowden. End of story. Absolutely end of story. Aaron Schwartz, somebody I've posted a bit about on this page, you know, absolute hero. A man that was persecuted and driven to suicide by his own government, and he was charged on felonies from a law that was brought in after the Matthew Broderick film War Games, because Congress panicked and introduced this ridiculous piece of legislation that fundamentally is complete bollocks. But then, you know, Edward Snowden is being charged under the Espionage Act, which was brought in 1917. It doesn't get much more outdated than nigh on a 100-year-old piece of legislation. If you believe in free speech, if you believe in the right to privacy, if you believe in basic liberty, if you believe in democracy, now's the time that we need to stand up and get against this shit. Because once we give these liberties away, once we give these rights back, we are never going to get them from our governments again. And it will make whistleblowers a thing of the past. It will make paedophile rings like the BBC fine to carry on, because everybody will be too scared to write the story, to investigate the story, to disclose the story. One of the things that gives investigative journalism its most power is the anonymity of its sources. And the current legislation being passed through in America and in Britain is going to make that a thing of the past. If somebody asked me, if God, for example, came down and said to me, you know what, Drew, I will guarantee you that your children will grow up in a better world, I would sacrifice myself for civil liberty in a heartbeat. I wouldn't even have to think about the decision. I'm already involved with groups that mean that my internet is regularly looked at, regularly scanned, my emails are probably regularly checked, but, you know, it makes no difference to me. I'm not doing anything that they can perceive to be illegal. But I will stand up for free speech. I will stand up for the right for governments to be held account. I will stand up for the need for investigative journalism. I will stand up for the anonymity of whistleblowers. I will stand up for organisations like WikiLeaks. I will stand up for the likes of Aaron Schwartz, who believe so wholeheartedly in the right that information should be free. The freedom of information saves lives. There's a classic, fantastic example in America of a 14-year-old high school kid helping develop an early screening test for pancreatic cancer. And this will save lives, and it was only done because of information held by JSTOR. Aaron Swartz was persecuted for allegedly illegally downloading JSTOR information. Information shouldn't be profited from if it's going to save lives, if it's going to benefit the human race. It should be free, and I will fight until my dying day for that. But if your freedoms, if your privacy, if your right to privacy means anything to you, we are facing a battle that needs to be fought. And we can't do it as individuals. The only way we will succeed is if we come together. And it means people coming together from all walks of life. So if your freedoms, if your liberty, if your privacy, if any of these things mean an ounce to you, or you have children, and you want them to have a world where they don't live in fear of exchanging ideas that may not sit comfortably with their administrations or their governments, we need to take a stand now. Please think about it. I'll put some great links in the description. I'll also put some links in the comments on Facebook of basic videos, bits and pieces that people need to have a look at, and information you need to educate yourselves on. This is really important because laws and acts and bills are being passed over here and in America where our basic civil liberties, our basic rights and our privacies are being taken away at an alarming rate. Please stand up to that, folks.